Bonjour, bonjour. Nito Ganedok Tema. Good afternoon, February 2021, Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. Welcome to the Health and Wellness Program. Joining us this afternoon is Philip Paul Martin, our internal external communications keeper. Philip, welcome to the program. Bonjour, Nito. Bonjour.
Okay, Corey, how are you doing?
Not too shabby. I woke up happy and I'm going to let it ride. Philip, as the new internal external communications keeper, tell us a little more about your position.
Well, it involves basically it involves the flow of information. And if you're acting as a government or any large organization, there is always a lot of information being received and information being put out between colleagues, between departments, and we want to make sure that the information is flowing within our organization. And when you're acting as a government, this is of the utmost importance because it allows us um, to function internally if we're all talking to each other and we know what's going on, we know how to locate information. So if we wanted to prepare for example, a meeting, an important meeting with the government of Canada or the province of Manitoba, or even a local government district, we have to be able to call up vast sums of information. It can be statistical information, it can be information within our organizations, and we have to control the flow of it. And we also have to be able to locate this information quickly. So basically, the flow of information assists the organization because when things become very, very busy and we have to respond to things very, very quickly, you're only as good as the communication within your organizational structure. And this will happen from time to time. There will be emergencies that happen within the Treaty 2 territory. There can be environmental disasters and things of this nature where we need to get a hold of each other and we have to function as an organization in order to move quickly. And that's one of the reasons I was hired, and the handling and flow of information within our organization.
Thank you, Phil. What about the internal side of the work that you do?
Well, it's a work in progress. There's I had a friend actually from Treaty 2 territory, now departed, Douglas Nepinak. He worked at the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs. And this was prior to me becoming involved in communications. I was a journalist at that time. And he told me that communications is everything that they teach you about in school, and then some. And it's the and then some that really, really challenges you, because anything that doesn't fit in a category within your organization ends up on your desk. And I found that to be true. I remember when I was over at a Child and Family Services organization working in communications. We had to evacuate an entire community and airlift it out, and we had to come up with pretty much instantly a plan to absorb this many people, to house them, and everything else. And we had to connect externally to different organizations like the Red Cross, the city of Winnipeg, and things of this nature. And we had to do it on the fly. So those, that's an example, an extreme example of what can happen at the drop of a hat. And it helps us to be prepared for that in order, preparing communication strategies and things of this nature to respond to those things. So it's when you have a slow period, if there is one. I haven't found it yet at Treaty 2. There's, it's a work in progress where we want to make sure that we have we can manage the way the information flows within our organization, because what happens is when the boat takes on water, we find out how good a job we did because we can identify the leaks. So, and when I say ongoing process, it means that we make adjustments as we go along, because we're a fairly new organization in the sense that we're expanding our capabilities. People are recognizing the good work we do within Treaty 2 territory, and we want to make sure that we have good relationships with people, which also which brings us to the second part of my job, which is external relations.
Yes, I wanted to ask Phil, lastly, what about that external work? What kind of work will it entail?
Well, this is like a unique role for me. It entails a lot of things I did as a communications officer, as a communications specialist, and as a communications manager prior to this. But it also involves something else, in that I'm responsible for external relationships for Treaty 2 with local government districts, towns, cities, provincial ministers, provincial governments, and federal governments. So it means that I'm not solely responsible for that, but I may be asked to go represent people, represent the government of Treaty 2 at a meeting and things of this nature. And I do have experience at this before, because I used to work for a city councilor in the city of Winnipeg. And there were times and meetings that I took on the councilor's behalf where I spoke for him, and things of this nature. So it's not something that that I take lightly. It's something that I have experience in doing, because we have to remember that externally, we want to develop good relationships, good working relationships with all different organizations and governments. In other words, we're developing a network of contacts within those organizations, so we can work together at times when when information, or we need to talk to each other fairly quickly, that we can get a hold of one another and work on issues within our territory. It can be that simple. It can also be delivering messages to governments on behalf of the people of the First Nations of Treaty 2. It can encompass a lot of different things. So really, what I have to be cognizant of is that I am representing Treaty 2 in all external, a lot of external relationships, and that a lot of people are going, when we make first contact with the people within organizations, that they're going to remember how professional we were, what was said, how it was communicated, not just what was communicated, but in what manner it was communicated. So we got to be cognizant of that at all times. The other aspect of my external job has to do with media relations, which I had a strong background in journalism. I was in broadcast journalism, I was in newspaper, I was in web, and things of this nature. And I learned how the system works. And believe it or not, like we say that our language, Anishinaabe, which is the main language of the people of Treaty 2, is of vital importance, for within that language, we really find who we are. Well, we flip the coin, and one of the issues that I've identified over the years with media, and in terms of our people, and by our people, I mean our people across Turtle Island, the Anishinaabe, the Cree, Dene, and so on and so forth, is that we don't understand the language and subtext and context of media. In fact, what I found is that most media outlets have their own different dialect and subdialects. So one of the advantages of working for years in media was that I became fluent in these dialects. So I not only know the news gathering process, I know how fast it takes to turn around a story. I speak the language of the media. I know what's going to be attractive. I know I've served as a desk editor, as a news director, and I know how they make their decisions and things of this nature. So we have a better chance of having our issues and things of this nature being broadcast or being put in newspapers and things of this nature if we speak the language of the media. And that is a language where I'm fluent in just about every dialect. And this is something that, one of the experiences that I bring. So in essence, what I do a lot of the times when we're dealing with media relations is I have to find a way to build a bridge by which we can not only have our stories and issues broadcast, but I like to go a step further, and I'm really hard on myself. And one of the reasons is because I really see an exciting opportunity here with Treaty 2, because we're redefining uh, ourselves, and not in terms of our language or anything, but we're taking an opportunity to establish ourselves as responsible for making our own decisions in a form of governance, right? So we're working on it every day in terms of answering the problem with childcare and protection for ourselves. And I can tell you that that is something that media would respond well to, because we're taking charge of those decisions. And we're not only doing that, we're doing that in land, water, resources. We're doing that in a number of areas. In justice, there's some exciting things going on. I was just on a group meeting. So there's some exciting things going on. And my job, more or less, is to extract those things and to promote those things so that people can be aware of the good work we're doing. It doesn't mean we're going to stop doing the good work. It means that we now have a means of letting Canadians know, because we really want to take what we're doing here and put it on a national stage, right? And that, in essence, is what my job is. But none of that happens if we don't have a good internal communications amongst our staff and things that, that information flows. Because if the information flows, then I can't be aware of it, or we can't be aware of it, and we can't extract it and turn it into something that's going to inform others or Canadians, Manitobans or Canadians, or those that, or even people within our territory under their form of government, as to what we're doing and the reasons why we're doing it, and how it's vitally important. So, as we go along, not only are we redefining the relationships with other governments and whatnot, we're going to have the ability to take care of things for ourselves, which is really why I was very interested in coming aboard again, and in the sense that it is something that is unique. It is a wonderful opportunity to be a part of, get on the ground floor and be a part of something where we're every day we're working on it. Every day we're working on it. I'm talking with one of my colleagues there, Ron Missy-Abbott, and he has, nearly 20 years experience with the province, right? We have people like former Grand Chief Derek Nepanak, right, who was an experienced leader. As part of our staff, we have, John Muswagon, and served as a chief for many years in the Pimicikamak Cree Nation at Cross Lake, right? So we have all these people that have all these experiences and whatnot. So it's not like we're going into this with our eyes closed. We're aware of the mammoth task that lies ahead that we're doing. But we're doing it. We're out here doing it every single day, and that is a story of dedication, and one that should be told, and or not only be told but shared with people. I'm not sure what the word is in Anishinaabe one. I'm Cree. I'm from Treaty 9. I'm from the Attawapiskat Cree Nation. I was a 60 Scoop kid. And my adopted family comes from within the Treaty 2 territory, between Laurier and McCurry. So I understand the land. I understand its beauty because I partially grew up in it. I have a vested interest in the success of what we're doing, and that's vitally important to me. I can't express it any other way. So when I said this work is ongoing, this work in external and internal relations, we feel that it's one of the most vital things, because I would like nothing better than to let others know that we're not only we're in the process right now of solving the issues of high numbers of children in care within our territory, within our communities. I would like to issue a media release saying that we solved the problem, right? So we're working towards that. But I could look forward to release today. We're releasing and saying we've knocked our numbers down. We're down to 15%. we're down to, reduce those numbers by 60%, by 70%. And that would be something that the rest of the country could look back and marvel that we solved the problem, that and so that's why for me, it's vital to stay in contact with all of our circle keepers, because there's a lot of exciting things going on. And I'm not sure what the Anishinaabe word is, but in Cree, in my dialect, we say Witamo, or in Witama in Northern Ontario or Northern Manitoba, but we say Witamo, and we want to tell them. It means to tell them. I want to tell them of all the great work we're doing here, and I want to tell them about share our successes and share some of our challenges, right? Because it's not easy work. Yet our organization, our people within Treaty 2, they show up for work every day, willing to work on these problems, willing to run through a brick wall if they have to further the work in their area. That tells me that we're dedicated, and that's why I'm excited about it. So, it seems a little dry sometimes talking about internal or external communications, but they're a vital part of just about any organization, certainly governments, because if they can't get their message out, then the people don't know, right? And it's just that simple. So I haven't got answers. I got more questions than I do answers, being a former journalist and things of this nature, but I'm very pleased. I'm very excited. I know that things are happening. I can hear the excitement when we're having meetings and things of this nature about what we're doing, and it's a work in progress. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of it, Corey.
Thank you very much. That was a great update. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Philip. Nice to see you again, my friend. Miigwech ni Joe and Minoy Wab Migo. Aho.
Watch it.